What's up, everyone? This is Devin, and we're back for another episode of Lions Talk. This is our new show where we talk just about Lions football and kind of take a look at how the season's going. Plus, if they played last week, which they didn't, we had bye. Thank goodness we didn't have a loss to talk about. Oh, and then we can take a look forward to see if there's any chance that we're gonna get a win this week, or is it gonna be another L? We got Cabby on the line.
Hello, hello.
So jumping in, we're gonna kind of look at where they currently sit in the NFC North. They're sitting in last place. They're 1-4. Chicago's those 2-4, and then Packers are 3-3. And to me, Packers don't look good. Bears don't look like they struggle. I mean, Justin Fields, I don't think he's doing great, but at the same time, he has no offensive line to really help him. So those two are struggling. So I think the Lions still has a chance to come out and be finished, up there in front of those two teams. I mean, do you kind of feel the same way, or no shot at all?
I don't know. After that Patriots game, I know we talked about it last week, but they were playing well up until that point, and the Patriots seem like they figured it out. So that kind of gives me a little hope that and but my thing is, I think the Lions had a bye at the most perfect time. They were really struggling with injuries. They were struggling record wise. They just weren't playing well, and it was just a perfect time to get everybody a little bit healthy, work on some things, and come
Yeah,
back for
it
this
seems
game
like
against Dallas.
yeah, I think they had a lot of injuries, a lot of people banged up. So I definitely think the bye was good. And, they kind of needed something to get them, reset. And hopefully, everyone seems to be doing a little bit better. It looks like most of the players that were out are now listed as like questionable, type of deal. So I think a lot of them will probably come back and play. The problem is looking at Lions'
Mhm.
schedule, though, they have Dallas coming up this weekend and at who's getting, it sounds like Dak's going to be back for them. And
Yep.
then you look at the next game after that, it's Dolphins, who sounds like Tua's coming back. Like, I mean, I guess
Yep.
it's up in the air, but he's been cleared. He could come back. Some I've heard rumors that he might wait till next week against the Lions before coming making a start back. But so it's like, okay, the Lions could be looking at facing two teams that are getting their starting quarterbacks back. And then they got to play the Packers. I mean, we were talking before. This is getting to a tough part of their schedule coming off of their bye.
Very tough. I mean, going back to the division, I mean, we do have a chance. I mean, their Packers look horrible, like you said, but you seem like they'll figure it out because they always do. The Bears are horrible, and then the Vikings are actually really good. So I don't see anybody kind of jumping them, but the bottom three teams are kind of all right there. But yeah, I mean, they go like you said, Cowboys, Dolphins, Packers, Bears, and
You,
they jump right to the Giants and Bills, who
yeah,
are two of the top teams in the NFL right now.
I mean, honestly, I would be happy if they could finish their or second. That'd be great. I mean, I would be super pumped on them to finishing that. I think last time we talked, if they could have 6 wins, I really could
Mm-hmm.
see it if they get the wins, and this would make me happy and feel like a completed team this year. Is if they beat Packers both time and Bears both time and get that number 2 spot. I think that'd be a heck of an improvement on the season. Yeah, they might not make playoffs with that because of looking at the rest of the schedule. They probably will have losses too. They'll probably have losses to the Vikings. And so, that's losing Giants, Bills, Vikings, and then Cowboys and Dolphins. Let's say they lose those games, but can pull off 2 wins against Packers, 2 wins against the Bears. They should be able to, I think, get Jets and Panthers, and then maybe the Jags. So that puts them right there about their 7 win season. So I think if they finish around that spot, have the wins over the Packers and have wins over the Bears, there's and kind of can finish in that second place spot. I would say that's a successful season of growth for the Lions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like probably 90% of Lions fans are probably thinking there's no way in hell that we're going to win 6 games. But, I think, every year we think they have a chance, and I still think they have a chance this year. So,
I mean, I know it's the first game of the season, but looking at what the Eagles have done this season so far and how close Lions were in that game. And Vikings is by far the best team in our division, and we played close and tough with them. And Seahawks is another team that, was another close game. And we kind of talked about this in our first episode that we did last week of this. And I just think with the way they played, besides for having the few injuries going into Patriots, and then Belichick always seems to, looking back and looking at the stats of Goff against Belichick anytime he's played, Belichick just knows how to put
hmm
pressure on Goff and gets Goff frustrated. So I think he was able to take care of the biggest weapon for the Lions, which is their offense. They knew they could put up points against our defense because obviously looking at the scores, they're allowing almost 30 points or more every game. only one team
Hmm.
that we've held to less than 30 points. So Belichick knew he was gonna be able to score on us, no matter who was playing quarterback at the time. And so I think he just knew if I put it is all my focus on defense and getting golf flustered, I feel like we're gonna win this. So I definitely think that was the game plan in their last game. And with injuries, I think it was perfect time for the bye to come into this Cowboys game that we have this weekend. Do you
Yeah.
want to kind of talk about this matchup that we have with the Cowboys a little bit?
Yeah, I mean it's a 1-4 versus a 4-2 matchup. The Cowboys, like we already said, they're gonna have Dak back, and Cooper Rush has actually looked really good. And so I don't know if it's up until last week, but I don't know if Dak back is gonna benefit the Cowboys as much. But you would think it would. Um, I mean, he's still a top 10 quarterback in most people's opinions, and he's just so injury prone. But I mean, going into this game, the Lions, I think, have Swift back, right? Uh,
It sounds like he
St.
should be back. Yes.
St. Brown will be healthy, fully healthy. We should have Shark back. Our defense should be fully healthy for the most part, and we should be pretty healthy. And that's kind of the biggest key for us is being healthy. And hopefully during our bye week, we really kind of looked into what's going on in our defense and what do we need to do. And that's first for this game is we're gonna have to stop the run.
Yeah,
Zeke and Pollard are two of the best duo backs in the NFL, and if we
and
don't stop
that's
that, it's Dak's gonna throw all over us.
that. Well, my hope is that uh, they go heavy on a run on because they have the good backs. Dak is coming back, so he might be a little bit rusty, is what I can kind of hope for. And so with Dak being a little rusty, he maybe not throwing quite perfect to start the game, and they're going to be heavy on the run early. If we can stop that run early, I think this gives us a chance to have a decent lead by halftime. As long as they didn't pick up on something that Belichick did to, fluster golf, as long as our line can hold and give
Mm-hmm.
golf some time, I think we'll be good. So I think that's gonna be the key factors in this game is stop the run on defense. And hopefully, we'll do as much as we can on, for the past game, but I'm hoping that Dak's just a little rusty, just a little off game pace type early. And then, he's gonna have to try to make a comeback win. And hopefully we have that run game stopped where we know he's gonna be throwing the ball anyways, because he needs to make up points. And we roll on offense like we've been doing early in the year. It's kind of, I guess, the game plan I would go going into this game.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of, I call them chalkboard talk. It's like my three keys to what they need to do to win. Number one was stopping the run, like we just talked about. Number two was, the takeaway battle. I kind of always say this, but the Cowboys for the last 2 years always have a lot of takeaways. And if we can win the takeaway battle, it's going to help tremendously. So that's kind of my two. And my third one was kind of the offensive line. I mean, kind of they were the best offensive line in the league, and not. I mean, they weren't the best, but they were up there. And then they kind of looked horrible against Patriots. So those are kind of just three basic things that
Yeah.
the Lions kind of needed to do, and they got put all four quarters together, which they haven't done in the last 15 years. So
Yeah. So, I mean, just to kind of run through some team stats, I guess I'll run through quick. And I know it's hard because Dak hasn't been there or for the last few games, and he got hurt pretty early in the season, and so we've been averaging 28 points a game, and they've only averaged 18.3. Points allowed though, we've given up 34, where they've only given up 16.3. Total yards of offense to or 423.6 yards we're averaging a game. They're at 311. And passing for us 272, them 192, rushing 151, and then 118 for them. So one of that just key factors as we're going through as we talked, stopping that run game. We got to keep them to less than 100 yards, in my opinion. And it's
yeah,
gonna be hard
for
to do
sure.
with Zeke and Pollard. The only other thing I have is a large yards allowed. We've given up 437 yards, with they've only given up 329, and most of their given up yards, and for us too, are passing yards. Rush, we've been allowing 167, so that number right there has me scared. I'm trying to get the run stop, but hopefully we can figure something out.
Yeah,
Because if we don't, this is just gonna allow. Oh, I think Dallas to control the ball too much, and we just won't be able to get our key, offense being on the field, because I feel like we can score fairly quickly. It needs to be, but if Dallas is able to run the ball and we can't get stops, it's gonna make it hard for us to control the game.
Yeah. So I 100% agree with that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Dallas has done well not having oh, Dak there, but they haven't played super strong teams. What did Dak go out in the Cincy game?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
I can't remember now what game he came out of. Oh, let's see, because our first game of regular season was Tampa Bay, who they lost to, and then Cincinnati they won. And then New York they won. Let's see. No, Prescott must have went out. Well, yeah, he either he did he start the Cincy game and went out in the Cincy game because Rush had the most passing yards. Rush had
I
235,
I believe so.
where Prescott in Tampa Bay he only had 134. And I know he got the start there, so I guess he might have got hurt the very first game. Now that I'm looking, but yeah, like I said, to be off 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever he's been off now, to come back in. I know he's been practicing, and you try to emulate game speed at practice, but it's just hard to do that. So I'm really banking
Yeah,
on
it's just different.
he's gonna be just a slightly off pace. You're gonna probably see some balls kind of behind him or behind the receivers. I know you got CD Lamb, who is questionable, but it sounds like he's gonna play. I know James Washington is on injury reserve. Fi Hoko, I think, is another receiver for them. And then a third string running back that's on, but no one cares about that dude. So,
Hmm.
they have a couple, none of their like key receivers. I mean, CD Lamb's about the only one, but none of their key receivers. But at the same time, you get tired if you're late in the game and you're tired, or because you've pretty much played every single snap, it's going to make it harder to be good at making cuts and stuff like that. So that's what you kind of hope for, is not having a backup that can come and relieve, one of your starting receivers. Or you kind of have, hopefully they'll be a little tired, or is what you can kind of hope for. And if CD Lamb is injured, nursing an injury as the game goes on, you tend to get more wear on that, and it tends to, make you half step slower or something.
Hmm.
So I guess that'd be something to kind of watch for and see if that affects anything. And then, yeah, because I think his receivers are definitely going to have to help him out, to be, and they're going to have to put up points, I think, against the Lions, even though the Lions let up a lot of points, but you're still going to have to score with them. I mean, there's only been one game where they were held to not scoring. So, and every other game they've put up over 30 points, except the one in
Hmm.
Minnesota. So, I guess, I think realistically, originally looking at this game on the schedule, I didn't think they had a shot. I give it more of a shot than what like matchup predictor on ESPN. They only give right now 22.8% chance to Lions. I would put it more at like a 40% chance, like a 40-60.
Yeah, it's tough just with, I mean, who knows what Dak's going to do and kind of everything we talked about. Lions have been struggling up until this point. But yeah, on DraftKings, it's 7-point favorites for Dallas. And I don't know what way I'm leaning for that. So,
Yeah, we'll jump into that in our betting one here soon, because yeah, I'm leaning. I mean, I need to not bet on Lions, because when I don't bet on them, it kind of goes. I need to take Dallas to cover the 7, and then Lions will win or something stupid. It's normally how it goes for me. So
hmm,
maybe that's
yeah,
what I'll
right.
do. Ew.
I don't know. I'm just, yeah. And then the over under is 49. We'll talk about that, like you said, in the next one. But
Uh, That one I definitely think could happen.
yeah, for sure. But
Oh,
like I said, Lions just they haven't put together 4 quarters in a very long time. I mean, look at the Minnesota game. That
yeah,
last drive, I mean, how many times has that happened to them? Or, they come out just super slow and let up points and look terrible on offense, and there's just nothing they can do.
yeah. So should be a good game. I'm happy to have Lions football back this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I
Me as
said
well.
I definitely did not pay as close of attention and to all the games this week, like I do when I just turn Lions on. It's like I start with Lions, and then I'm checking constantly, besides for my fantasy
Hmm.
players, what the scores are, the rest, and kind of looking at how everything's going. Where when like Lions had bye last week is like, yeah, I kind of turned the games on, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was kind of out doing other things. So, oh,
Yep.
all right. Well, peace out for this one.
Yeah.